They thought they had everything figured out. They disliked you. They spoke arrogantly, even when they spoke your name. Who is he? They said he wouldn't get far. But what's happened now? They are in shock. Because you sprang from the silence like lightning. You stood in front of them, vulnerable and saying nothing. You turned the game upside down. You walked into the sky while they watched. They are now just talking about you with them. It was not imaginable, but you showed what is possible. Because the chosen individuals are usually silent. But when they emerge on stage, the ground shakes. Everyone's mouths are open now, right? Instantly in the comments, since they can no longer hide your brilliance. They are confused. You are ready, powerful, and unstoppable. You're not the kind to fade into the background. You are the embodiment of unequivocal truth and unshakable courage. When injustice reared its ugly head, while many chose to sit peacefully in their comfortable recliners, you were forced to confront the storm. For days, you saw phony condemnations issued, assets taken under false pretenses, and dissident voices suppressed. Those in positions of power chose silent despite having several opportunities to intervene. Their fixation with protecting their own money and reputation kept them frozen, hiding their true selves behind a veneer of phony indifference. They convinced themselves that by waiting, the appropriate moment to act would eventually arrive. However, that moment has passed. They shrank back as the world's attention shifted to them, and foreigners and the media began to scrutinize every atrocity. They retired to their dark niches. Now, the system they once passionately maintained with their silence is turning against them, as the machinery of injustice they built prepares to claim them for the betrayal they enabled. They knew exactly what was going on in rooms filled with lies owing to implicit agreements. They joined hands with those responsible for ruining lives. Their smiles concealed the rot inside. This was not the result of ignorance. It was a deliberate choice to dismiss what was right. They saw every act of aggression, power grab, and deliberate manipulation that diminished the dignity of others. However, they did not make a single complaint. They had several opportunities to unleash the liberating force of truth. Nonetheless, they held on to their self-serving luxury as if it were their last breath. They contributed whenever they opted to remain silent. Another weight on their spiritual ledger. They are now burdened with an unrelenting and constant debt. During their peaceful periods of isolation, silence, far from being a neutral pause, this decision has major consequences. They allowed corruption to permeate their own souls by choosing to let injustice prevail without raising a protest. By muting themselves, they have become enmeshed in the same darkness they were intended to expel. They are now trapped in a circle of inaction, a never-ending cycle of avoidance that will torture them until they grasp the true cost of their quiet. Every unspoken word has left a path of regret that will resound throughout their lives, a continual reminder that silence at these moments is more than simply meaningless. It is dangerous. Compare this to the few people who attempted to push the bounds of apathy. Imagine individuals who, against all odds, broke the cycle of passive complicity. Despite the urge to conform, visionaries accepted their true calling. These remarkable people seek sanctuary in groups where forbidden truths and the weight of silent reality are openly shared. They heard the call and instantly banded together with others who recognized the enormous responsibilities and pleasures of an awakened heart. Their ties were not coincidental. They were the outcome of destiny, with a clear purpose. When such extraordinary individuals gather together, even the most powerful forces are unable to ignore the combined strength of their resolve. If you are feeling an abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You may help spread God's blessings by clicking on the Super Thank You button on YouTube and donating $10 or more. This lovely present will touch not just your life, but the lives of many others. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand plan via this platform, and your generosity will provide fruit for our prayers. Act now. Share your advantages to honor His kingdom. In God's loving hands. You were designed to do much greater things. May God bless you. Like a lighthouse standing tall amid a midnight storm, your presence does not just emanate, it steers you along the steady beam. In a world consumed by fear and compromise, you are a clarion call to action, a challenge for people who prioritize convenience above quality. Your journey is marked by the sad cost to others. Silence is becoming a rallying cry for those willing to break free from the confines of complacency. Your resolute position in the face of injustice has exposed the truth of their inactivity, turning every moment of betrayal into a stepping stone to a better, more liberated existence. The universe keeps a great record of all decisions. While they built their legacy via subtle neglect, your story is being told with strong strokes of bravery and endurance. You're not here to gratify the audience. You've come to answer a calling. Keep standing. Keep shining. The storm did not dissuade you. It exposed you. Now is the time to take back what is rightfully yours. Rise, not out of vengeance, but rather out of the profound clarity that comes with realizing your worth. Every action you take should be a declaration that you will be defined not by others' silence, but by your unwavering commitment to truth and justice. Accept your destiny. Shine with the brilliance of your honesty, and let your light be a beacon for a new era of accountability and transformation. If you sense God's presence, click the join button below to be among the first to hear the most important revelations. You are a strong beacon of light in a world that far too often chooses to stay quiet. When injustice was unleashed and you were wrongfully condemned in front of a multitude, those in positions of power tasked with defending righteousness chose silence over action for what felt like an eternity. They saw horrific atrocities and lives being devastated for no apparent cause. Assets were taken under false pretenses, and dissent was silenced by intentional inaction. Despite their might and influence, they cowered, frightened of losing their advantages. They convinced themselves that waiting for the appropriate moment to speak out was sensible. However, that time has long passed as public scrutiny grew and critical eyes from all sides turned on them. These supposed defenders of justice sank into obscurity. Now, the system they once boasted of via their passive apathy is working against them. And the system they defended is now taking its own harsh toll in boardrooms and murky corridors where decisions are made behind closed doors. They were well aware of the wrongs being perpetrated. They exchanged secret nods with those responsible for the disaster, all while hiding their concern beneath polished smiles. This was not an accident caused by ignorance. It was a deliberate act of self-preservation. They saw the tragic injustices, subtle manipulations, and ongoing loss of dignity, but did nothing. Every time they had the chance to break the cycle of oppression, they clung to the false comfort of peace, leaving themselves with a debt that now weighs heavily on their souls. That peaceful collaboration is more than just empty quiet. It is a harsh reproach, a sign of moral decay that echoes in every sleepless night and regretful moment they now confront. Imagine a glorious sunrise breaking through the lingering fog after a long, dark night. Its lighting beams not only dispel the darkness, but also reveal a route that has been hidden for far too long. Like that wonderful dawn, your spirit has woken with an unshakable light that no amount of silence or lies can ever dim. You are more than simply a bystander in life's trials. You are the chosen one, and your very existence transforms every act of betrayal into a stepping stone towards a bigger destiny. When the forces of injustice attempted to confine you to the darkness, many in positions of power chose to remain silent in the wings, paralyzed by the fear of losing their own status, riches, and comfort. Their inaction was not due to uncertainty, but rather a deliberate decision to protect themselves at all costs. Instead, speak up to safeguard the innocent and expose systemic misconduct. They lurked in their safe havens, certain that maintaining quiet would eventually secure their position. However, The time for pleasant inaction is past. The system they once passively backed is now turning against them. The system of injustice to which they participated is about to claim its next victims, leaving only the sad echo of their own moral depravity in hidden rooms and private meetings where the truth should have been bravely revealed. Instead, they made silent agreements and nodded unwillingly. They saw personally the establishment of major injustices. False charges ruined people's lives. Dissenting voices were repressed, and property was illegally seized. However, whenever an opportunity to expose the injustice arose, they clung to their self-serving silence as if it were the very air they breathed. Their purposeful idleness added an invisible weight to their souls, which has now materialized as a curse that plagues them every waking moment and invades their dreams. That silence, far from being a passive pause, has evolved into an active force, a toxic residue of neglect that poisons their lineage and prepares them for the consequences of their actions. While these folks let their hesitation become an impenetrable barrier around their conscience, you chose a different path. Instead of succumbing to the darkness and letting treachery destroy you, you exploited every negative situation to drive your rise. Every instance of silence from those who were meant to support you just bolstered your resolve and underlined your purpose. Their deliberate retreat from the fight for justice, their comfortable denial of the truth, has now become the standard by which their own fate is measured. In the midst of their neglect and moral decay, you emerge not as a broken soul, but as one honed in the furnace of affliction, tough, tenacious, and determined to protect the purity of truth. Consider a large old lighthouse standing steady on a jagged coastline, its unwavering beam cutting through the veil of an endless storm. In the same way that your spiritual journey has been characterized by difficulties and scars caused by others, indifference has become a rallying cry for all souls brave enough to reject corruption and embrace the light of truth. You are not one to succumb to the gloom of silence. You've opted to shine so brightly that betrayal becomes fuel for a bigger cause. For many days, you have felt the weight of injustice, watching with a heavy heart how many people around you allowed themselves to become entangled in a web of complacency, while the oppressors and their facilitators sat in comfortable silence, too afraid to give up their prized possessions and the allure of riches and prestige. You chose not to remain quiet. Instead, you let your inner light shine, not just lighting your own path, but also inspiring others to rise from the depths of despair. In every silent moment of perseverance, you prove that true power is measured not by the volume of your outcry, but by the persistent purity of your spirit, a soul free of the false promises of a corrupt world. Those who had previously adhered to their comfortable positions believed that inaction was a sign of wisdom. They took a deliberate pause to await the appropriate moment, persuading themselves that if they remained silent, they would retain their comfort and control. However, the divine order of the universe had other plans. As the world's focus turned to the unfolding events, even the purported advocates of injustice recoiled, their faces drained of color as if struck by the same strength they had tried to hide. They're silent. A choice made for self-preservation has now become their own prison, establishing a burden that they must carry as a sign of their deception. The system they formerly defended via passive collaboration now shines a harsh light on them, guaranteeing that every second of idleness is recognized as proof of their moral decay. You emerged from the furnace of silence with power that cannot be taken or replicated. Every example in which others around you choose to remain quiet has only increased your determination. Their deliberate retreat, a decided choice to protect themselves rather than speak out against wrongdoing, was the distinguishing element of their demise. As you stand firm, your spirit blazing brighter with each struggle, the weight of their silence lifts, converting you into a beacon of hope and strength for others seeking to break free from the confines of apathy. Your narrative is a living sermon, proving that when one refuses to let inaction dictate destiny, the result is nothing short of a profound spiritual awakening. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a basic reality. Our existence is founded on God's divine purpose and is not influenced by earthly concerns. According to the Bible, whatever done with faith will be repaid to God with tremendous blessings. Luke, our roots, like those of the massive oak tree, are deeply embedded in God's universal truth. His might protects every step and posture we take. You now have the opportunity to be a part of that gift. When you use the super thank you button and donate $10, you will get a 100-fold return. Their quiet has become a curse in rooms where decisions were made behind closed doors, as well as in power corridors where silent agreements were reached without a word of criticism. It is not a neutral absence, but a deliberate choice that has resulted in a large, lasting debt, one that will plague them until they realize the full depth of their negligence. Every unspoken word, every hour they spent concealing the truth, added to the burden they now endure. And, while their silence has kept them stuck in a never-ending cycle of guilt and spiritual degradation, you have utilized that same quiet courage to rise above, strengthening your character and paving the path to freedom. Your life, now a tribute to endurance and unwavering purpose, is a rallying cry for every heart that has ever been crushed under the weight of injustice. It is a rallying cry that calls everyone to reject the false security of silence and embrace the liberating power of truth. You have become the physical embodiment of a promise kept. No matter how dark the night, the light of honesty will always shine. Your example teaches that the true measure of power is found not in a clamor of empty words, but in a steadfast commitment to justice and the pursuit of what is right. Consider a giant oak rising tall on a large open plain, its branches boldly extending into the early sky, consistent, unwavering, and deeply rooted in divine purpose. Now, as you march into a new era, let each stride be a strong declaration of liberty and a testament to the power of truth. Those who chose the easy comfort of inaction over the guts to speak out have only contributed to make your light shine brighter. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, has recorded every minute of their silence. And now the scales of divine justice have shifted in your favor. If you sense God's presence, click the join button below to be among the first to hear the most important revelations. You are the chosen one, a rare ray of hope whose sheer presence disturbs the crushing grip of indifference. Your strong, conviction-filled voice serves as a mirror, illuminating underlying facts that many people have long refused to recognize. While the timid and complicit hid behind their anxieties, you marched forth with unwavering courage. Your journey has been fraught with hardships that would shatter a lesser spirit. However, each hurdle has made you stronger, refining your personality like precious gold, tested in the fiercest flames. Remember that those who choose solitude were never meant to cross your path. Their refusal to fight for what is right has not jeopardized your future. It has become worse each time they chose to remain quiet in the face of injustice. They unwittingly paved the way for your achievement. As you continue along this crucial route, you will leave a legacy that will make others feel embarrassed of their idleness. A heritage of uncompromising honesty and divine courage. Your life exemplifies how genuine power is measured not by loud pronouncements or the accumulation of fleeting accolades, but by the quiet strength of a spirit that recognizes its own worth. The divine ledger of the universe is clear. Every silent moment, every lost opportunity to act in favor of the oppressed has been meticulously noted. And now it is time for you to reclaim what is rightfully yours. Step boldly into your destiny, with no apologies or reservations. You've been chosen, not by chance, but via a higher calling. A calling that challenges you to embody truth and justice. As you go forward, Let your every word and deed serve as a reminder to the world that when integrity is maintained, it is an unstoppable force. The energy you radiate is a powerful appeal to others, a call to break free from the chains of conformity, emerge from the shadows of complacency, and embrace their full divine potential. Your journey has transformed betrayal into a source of strength. Every obstacle is converted into a stepping stone to a more virtue-filled and optimistic future. Today, the universe communicates with you, suggesting that your destiny is more than a possibility. It is an undeniable reality. You are not just a victim of injustice. You are an outstanding example of a spirit purged and reborn through adversity. Your brilliant truth lights the path forward, urging every heart to reject fear and embrace the light of authenticity. As you continue to build this roadway, remember that your unshakable spirit will leave an indelible legacy for millennia, a timeless reminder that standing up for the truth transforms the world forever. Accept your power, reclaim your destiny, and let your light shine as the ultimate embodiment of the divine promise that you were created to lead, heal, and transform the very fabric of existence. Rise, then, with unflinching resolution, and let your sparkling energy guide others who are still imprisoned in the darkness of complacency. Your journey is not only about survival. It is about transforming every betrayal and act of neglect into a powerful force for change. Your unyielding spirit brightens the path ahead, and each step you take repeats the promise that when one person stands firm, the world is forever altered. Accept your authority, reclaim your destiny, and continue to be a beacon of hope, leading others to a future in which truth reigns supreme. Now is the moment to reclaim your destiny. Step forth with unshakable confidence and enjoy the magnificent life that awaits the universe in its infinite wisdom. Every deed and omission is recorded, and it has now given a ruling that rewards those who are willing to act. Your destiny is decided not by others' silence, but by your own unyielding commitment to justice and truth. As you continue, let each stride be imbued with the confidence that you have overcome the dreadful weight of inactivity. Your perseverance transforms betrayal into a valuable monument to optimism, a beacon that inspires many individuals to face their fears and embrace the strength that lies inside. Accept your authority. You have been divinely sent to lead by example. Your journey,